Welcome to the Restoring Balance podcast, where two lifelong friends get together to rewatch and discuss why they love Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jim. Today, we're discussing Book 1, Episode 11, The Great Divide.
Welcome, everyone. You are in for a treat, because this is actually my co-host Jimmy's favorite episode.
It's not.
He loves it so much.
You're going to think so after I tell you everything I have to say about it.
You sort of had like a reawakening after watching this, because I always make fun of Jimmy because Avatar is such a great show, but we both think that this episode's not that great. We always used to think of it as one of the worst ones in Avatar. It was just kind of lame, whereas all the other ones are just so beautiful.
It's popularly so the worst episode in the show, but honestly, I'm going to start it off by saying I can't say that I agree that this is the worst episode.
Dude, you changed your mind?
Officially, after watching today.
I still don't like it.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
I literally got PTSD when I heard her say tarp. In the very first scene, she's like, "Are you going to put up your tarp?" And I was like, "No, not the tarp." Oh my God, I hate this episode.
Yep. Then it's just like, here we go.
Yeah, and like this whole episode is going to be about the little stupid argument, and then it sucks.
Yeah. It used to be played a lot, too. It was its own standalone story. So Nickelodeon was like, oh, nice. Just let this one roll.
It's the perfect show, they said.
It was on, I remember scrolling through, the guide on the TV, right? And it's like, oh, Avatar's on. What episode is it? Great Divide.
Oh, The Great Divide.
Yeah, I actually watched that a couple hours ago. Thanks.
I literally had the same experience. I have seen The Great Divide too many times, and that contributes to why I don't like it that much.
Yep.
It's overplayed. It's the most popular, unpopular episode.
Exactly. People love to hate it.
Listen, I'll be the first to say it. I kind of side with Sokka in the initial argument. The problem is that Katara just got so upset by his nonchalance. You know what I mean? He was just living his life, and Katara just got pissed and even more pissed.
Yeah. I'm not surprised to hear you say that.
What, is it because I'm an older brother?
It's every villain that has a decent point in anything we watch. Mike's like, yeah, I mean, if I were here, I'd be on their side.
Thanos really has a point, actually. No, Thanos' thing was so stupid. Doesn't make any sense, but
I think the one that stands out to me is Sasuke in Naruto.
Like, he's really got a point.
Mike, Sasuke is certainly not the only one. Mike always gives the villain the benefit of the doubt and is like, there's something to what they're saying.
Let's just hear him out, okay? He's only killed a few dozen people.
Yep.
Just hear him out.
I remember feeling an obligation to show you a Naruto analysis video. And it's like, I don't know, an hour-long video probably. And I remember the first part is like establishing all of Sasuke's points to hear him out as you're discussing. And then the whole remaining 2/3 of the video is just countering every single one. And you're like, yeah.
Really makes you think.
It does.
The issue for me was just that Katara kept trying to get Sokka to act differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you can't impose your will on other people and then get upset when they don't do what you say.
Mm-hmm.
You can only present your point and then live with what happens.
I think partially it's a classic case of, sibling bickering. I think it's kind of nice in the way that they portray that. But you're absolutely right. They are kids, so they will get mad for reasons that you're talking about. But, as they grow older, they learn, that was actually pretty stupid and unfair of me to react in such a way. I did the same thing with my sister. We're both the same years older than our younger sisters, and I'm sure we've had similar conversations with them.
Yeah. It was hilarious to see how it ramped up like real life, where Katara just got pissed that Sokka didn't agree with her. And so she just threw all the sticks at him. And he's like, well, if you're going to do that.
Right.
And he tears down the whole tent. And it's like, oh my God, we didn't have to do this, guys.
Just makes it worse out of spite.
I get it. He got hit in the face with a bunch of sticks. So you're like, well, screw you. But it really didn't have to happen.
Right. It's always a dumb reason, too. Anytime you have, whether it's with a sibling or just an argument like this, it's dumb. The reason is dumb. You'll get together after the fact, as they do later in this episode, and just say, yeah, I didn't really care that much. For some reason, I did in the moment or whatever. There's name calling, right? Downplaying the other's task in comparison to yours. And it's just like, what are we doing? Why do we want to insist that what we're doing is so correct and don't want to be corrected at all, that we're just irrationally making this situation a bad time?
I think you just invest too much of your self-worth in doing things correctly.
Yeah.
When what you do is attacked, you feel as though you are attacked. And then part of the maturing process is learning that it's not that big a deal.
Exactly.
But like you said, these are kids.
And we see that happen because this little argument sets the stage for the larger groups having just as stupid of a feud.
But it reminded me when I was learning about writing fiction. I told you I was taking like some classes to learn a little bit about that.
Mhm.
And one of the intros to books, one of the techniques, is where you do a version of your entire overarching plot, but you do a tiny version. So you show the reader that this is what you're going to see.
Right.
So if you like that sort of thing, that's what the whole plot's going to be.
And Aang assumes his role as a peacemaker in the Avatar very much like willingly. You know, up until this point, it's like, I never wanted to be. And then he is burdened with the newfound responsibilities that he's discovering as the state of the world unfolds to him.
Well, we've dealt with Heibai, and he had to act as a spiritual liaison for a whole village previously.
He was not happy to do that, though. Here, he's like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
We've been to Kyoshi.
Yep.
And in Kyoshi, he was treated like an avatar and then realized all the pain and destruction he brought because of his role as Avatar.
True.
But this is the first time that he is mediating between people.
I think it's kind of like, say you're working, right? And you have a big task that you know is actually the thing that you should be working on. But then in your procrastination, you're happy to do a bunch of like little tasks just to feel like you're getting something done.
Yeah.
I would equate his willingness to do the mediating here as like the easy tasks. Whereas, you know, getting to the North Pole and learning waterbending is like the big one, right? Taking a moment to proudly help the two people here that are having a stupid argument is no problem at all. Happy to do that. And I'll proudly proclaim that this is the duty of the Avatar.
You see that? Settling feuds and making peace. All in a day's work for the Avatar.
After they move on from their little
morning spat,
yeah, we make our way to the Grand Canyon of the Avatar world,
which never gets brought up again.
The Great Divide, dude.
It's called the Great Divide, and I don't think it's ever mentioned again, right?
No, it's not.
The perfect standalone episode, never referenced again. I think the writers knew what they did here.
Yeah,
okay.
It's tough. They even associate it with the only Avatar episode that could be classified as a filler episode.
That's hilarious. Avatar has one filler episode, and it's the Great Divide.
You could say that. I still stand by what I was saying at the beginning. I support the episode.
My problem is it just feels a little goofy.
Yeah, I mean, all the reasons for what's trying to be communicated here are stupid reasons.
One of the problems I have is just the way the tribes interact. I just find it hard to believe that this situation could happen in the world. A lot of the episodes are really believable. So Aang, Katara, and Sokka are sightseeing, and then a guy who's waiting for his tribe to show up, you know, starts freaking out, saying, "I'm first, guys. You quit it. You know, I'm saving a spot for my tribe."
Yeah.
And then these tribe of like barbarians comes out of the woods, and he immediately picks a fight with them. And I just find it really hard to believe that like a lone messenger, because of his tribe's hatred of another tribe, is so gung-ho and insulting towards an entire group of people with weapons in front of him. It's like schoolyard activities.
Yeah.
But this is like real life, supposedly.
It makes you think, though, if they have these prejudices towards each other, how justified are any of the prejudices that we see in the real world?
I just wish there was more nuance in the way they represented the tribes. Because if it's supposed to be a story about you can't judge a book by its cover, or you need to look past differences to work together, they made the people that were analyzing like flat caricatures of situations, and they didn't show us any more depth throughout the episode.
Maybe that's the point, Mike. It doesn't matter how justified you think you are. The reason will always be stupid if you're going to have prejudice.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't be looking for a reason to humanize these people. They just are humans. The problem is it's a TV show and they drew them.
Yeah.
But in real life, definitely, you don't need to find a reason to treat people with respect. Which, maybe I do fall prey to that.
Well, these tribes certainly have. To an extreme, it's crazy. They are so influenced on things that are not proved at all. Every reason they have or statement they make about the other tribe is like, bro, how do you know? It's like all of it is just based in assumptions.
It seems to me the tribes know each other. They argue like old married couples,
Yeah.
But supposedly they hate each other's guts, so why are they seeing each other so much that they get to know each other? Did they live across the street that's all camped out in the same place?
It's like, guys, we gotta just get away from each other.
They're like two rival schools or something. Like, nevertheless, when the gang sees them all arguing, so much for Aang wanting to step out and be the Avatar because he didn't do anything. Tara has to go out and say, hey, everybody.
This is the Avatar, and if you give him a chance, I'm sure he can come up with a compromise that will make everyone happy.
And Aang's like, what?
Yeah, and they do listen. They stop immediately. That label is powerful.
I found it a little unbelievable that they would listen to Katara in the first place, because she's like a 12-year-old girl yelling over two feuding tribes running from the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
All the more reason to think that that word, Avatar, holds a lot of weight. Another thing, too, when the guy from the Ganjin comes up and he starts just saying, no, we're here for whatever. He talks about how my tribe is fleeing the Fire Nation and going to Ba Sing Se.
It's a long, long way.
A long, long way to Ba Sing Se. Yes, sir.
And it is such a pity.
And Katara mentions, like, you're refugees. And again, it is just a little emphasis on some significance to this world.
Keeps the plot moving in the background.
And I like that. I like that this episode was structured this way. It's really, I don't know, man.
I don't like it.
It's good stuff.
I don't like it. But what I wanted to touch on was Aang was reluctant to step in to help them. Because when it was easy, he could just say to his friends, like, I'm the Avatar and act this way. And now he's confronted with real problems passed down through generations. And he doesn't step out and do something. Like I said, Katara volunteers him.
He's hesitant. He doesn't say anything that is effective. And you can see it, get to him very quickly.
Yeah.
Right? So this failure has not only given him a little bit more experience with a bigger task, but it's also showing him that this is emotionally taxing, and it certainly gets to him on multiple occasions throughout this episode. He gets very angry, and rightfully so, because again, all these reasons, they're dumb. That refugee, by the way, is voiced by Robin from the Teen Titans.
Believe me, he's more than a tour guide. He's an earthbender, and the only way in and out of the canyon is with his help. And he's taking my tribe across next. Calm down, we know you're next.
Dude, I thought his voice was familiar when we were watching.
Did I spoil it? I called it out when we were watching it.
You did?
I did, yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, what's up, Robin?
Apparently, I'm deaf because I didn't hear you.
Nice. Did you figure it out then?
No, I don't think about those things. I just heard the voice. I'm like, that sounds kind of familiar, and then I moved on.
Yeah, man. I remember one day I was sitting in my bed. I think I was like sick one day from school in college, and I just spent my whole sickness just rewatching Avatar. And I remember sitting in my bed. I paused the episode. And I was like, I need to lock in and think right now. Who is that voice? Once I got to the point that it was Robin from Teen Titans in my head, I proceeded to watch Teen Titans again, like the next week.
And you said that it didn't live up to the hype, right? It's no Avatar, okay?
It's no Avatar, unfortunately, to me at least.
Aang is challenged immediately with his solution that he proposes to them, and he comes up in his anger with a new one. He says, you know what? Put your sick and elderly, because the slobs are sick and the clean people get too old. Like, okay, neat.
Yeah.
He said, put them on Appa, he will fly them across, and we will travel together. But I don't see how that's a solution to the problem. The problem was they didn't want to travel together. Okay?
Yeah.
And so what Aang does is he says, okay, put your sick people and your people who are most likely to get sick, old people with like worse immune systems and failing health, close by, and we'll fly them over, and then you guys will still have to travel together in the canyon, just like you didn't want to, except now we have to join you too. How was this a solution to the problem?
Mike was so upset with the sick and elderly being together.
I was like, there's no way. I liked how he sacrificed his transportation, because they could have just flown away and been like, that sucks, figure it out, guys. But Aang steps up and says, I will help guide you all through the canyon. Like I said, I'm not sure his little idea was great. It was fine. What it does is I think it speeds up their travel.
Yep.
Because the sick people and the old people won't have to walk too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a horrible solution, but I was just like,
Then we get to the other side of the canyon and all the elderly people are sick and all the sick people are old.
Shit.
Would you care for some bread, Katara?
So it was you guys who had food.
Oh, come now. You really think that tribe of thieves isn't smuggling food? Why should my people go hungry when the sneaky Zhangs are stuffing their faces?
Showing such a clear example of two wrongs don't make a right. I remember being in the mindset, okay, I agree. Two wrongs don't make a right. Fine, Mom. And then further, while I'm thinking that, Katara's like, well, okay. I guess since everybody else is doing it, I'm already thinking we're doing wrong stuff. And then she does that. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's wrong too. So now what? Here's peer pressure out the window for me. I think that's wrong now.
Well, 3 wrongs make a right, didn't you know?
It's 3. Mom didn't ever say that.
You had a lot of moral dilemmas when you were younger, huh?
I just paid attention to like what's going on. It was, I mean, I guess I got to credit the shows, of course, but also my parents. They like insisted that I pay attention to these things because they're the ones who like put me in charge of my sister and my cousins. This happened at my daycare all the time too. I was thrust into a leadership role in a lot of little kid situations, you know, and I had to pay attention to what was going on to make everybody happy. It's very much a reason that my personality is the way that it is. I love when everybody's happy, dude. It is like, it's peak happiness for me is when everybody else is having a great time. When they hear that history, Katara and Sokka separately are so easily swayed. You know, we are humans and we love a good story. And just talking about how when people are younger, they're more easily influenced. Don't forget, you know, we're dealing with 12-ish year old humans. They're all in on these stories.
12 is so young, dude. How are they so young?
So young and so capable. But it goes to show you shouldn't believe everything that you hear right off the bat. You especially shouldn't like act maliciously because of what you've heard. You know, you got to verify this stuff. Thinking about it though, Sokka actually didn't ask and didn't care until after he heard the story.
Yeah, that was actually gold.
That was a great joke.
He wasn't even like looking at the lady when she was trying to tell her story. He was devouring the meat.
Uh-huh. That's
And then
all he cared about.
Immediately after she finishes, he's like, "Are you gonna finish that?"
Don't care, didn't ask.
Exactly. Speaking of not caring, I was surprised the guide wasn't more upset that he was crippled because the people he was guiding disobeyed the one thing he told them to do.
And he had to pay the consequences.
Yeah, he told them to get rid of their food, and then he's crippled because of it. But he does eventually learn about it at the end
Yep.
when all the food is exposed. And he never has a moment to be upset or say anything about it. I don't know if that was just they didn't really care to deal with his character very much in this episode, or just that he's that chill.
I think it was more of the box is checked that you realize, like, wow, you had one job and look what it costs. Aang is the one who speaks this.
I agree with you. Aang voices the frustration when he's freaking out about everybody having food. And he says, "You guys are horrible?" Is that what he says?
You're all awful!
I mean, he's right. Even when something important is going on, they still interrupt each other with just stupid little unnecessary things. It's like, God. I really liked that when the stories of the past and the reasons that they are angry with each other, when those stories were told, they were in different art styles. That was really welcome.
I feel like I'm just a hater this episode because I didn't like the different art styles. No, but I love the mixing of genres, like in Spider-Verse. Yeah, even in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, that was really cool when they had all the different art styles. But it didn't work for me in this one.
Wow.
I just thought the art styles weren't refined enough. They felt like cheap to me.
They probably cost less to animate, I would guess. But I liked it because it keeps it fresh. Something to get my eyes to gravitate even more towards the screen. And I feel like it makes me listen to the story more.
It just upped the goofiness factor. Because it was already, the people were acting real goofy, and then they tell their backstories, their really important backstories, and it's like the craziest animation.
The backstories, too, were not connected to the greater world. I just think it would have been really cool if they found a way to display the lesson that they're trying to teach here while still really connecting it to the rest of the world.
I guess that's why it's considered filler. So you could skip it and not lose anything at all. Because none of it reconnects. We never hear about the redemption ritual. We never hear about Wei Jin or Jin Wei ever again.
Yeah, the only time we hear about this again is when they make fun of themselves for it.
Oh, Ember Island players.
Yeah. They're like, oh, look, it's the Great Divide.
Let's just fly over it.
Yeah. We move on to the next day where they get their stuff cleaned up and proceed through the canyon. And we find ourselves in front of a big wall.
Yeah, it sucks that their earthbender broke all his bones.
Yep. Tough stuff. And next thing you know, we discover, after fighting a canyon crawler, that everybody's got food.
Everybody had it the whole time.
They even do like a little like, oh no, and they kick
The little kick to hide the food from Aang.
Yeah.
Like, huh? What?
No, you didn't see anything. Aang is thoroughly upset. He's been playing it right. He's followed the rules that everybody agreed to. But nobody else did.
And then after all the food is exposed, they're attacked by, honestly, a herd of canyon crawlers. Like dozens of them. And we get the famous line.
They're coming back for me. They've had a taste, and they're coming back for me.
And I forgot that was from this episode because I say that in my life.
Yeah, you do.
I say that, and I didn't remember it was from The Great Divide.
Oh, your favorite episode.
No.
Like the many more canyon crawlers I see as a metaphor of like, if you choose to continue to participate in behavior that goes against the solution to your problem, it will get worse. And it does. We had one canyon crawler in the beginning of the episode, and now we have dozens. What did you think was going to happen?
And it seems insurmountable, too, because these things are basically indestructible. Katara's trying to use her water whip to hit them, and then one from behind just steamrolls through her whole waterbending and like ruins it. Just dissolves the whole form.
Yeah.
And I really like how they included that. I think it's happened before in the episode where somebody, if you hit the waterbending like from the side, it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really cool touch. But it also helps to demonstrate how, like, you can't really stop these guys.
Yeah. It adds that layer of like, uh-oh.
Aang goes crazy for a second and takes out, in quotes, a huge pile of them, and they just immediately flip over and get back up. They're perfectly fine. I thought it was neat how they got out. They rode the canyon crawlers out, but they just... I'm telling you, my goofy meter is just off the charts on this episode.
It is.
So your solution, instead of somehow beating these horrible monsters, is to trick them into letting you ride them up the canyon? What?
A completely vertical wall.
Completely vertical. Nobody can hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the guide who has no arms. I don't know. Every time he gets to the top and falls off the canyon crawler, I'm like, how? Just how?
But just everybody basically, at the drop of a hat, becomes a master canyon crawler wrangler.
Yeah, very convenient.
And they work together with people outside of their tribe, but that wasn't even a necessary part. They could have just paired up with people in their own tribe, but then at the end, they're like saying, oh wow, I didn't know you were so handy in a fight, or you were so dependable in a pinch. And it's like, you guys paired up with each other for no reason. Like, you hated each other, and then for some reason, when it was time to wrangle these canyon crawlers, you guys paired up 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 people from different tribes.
Perfect.
Why?
He said, do as I do, and they're suddenly trained and paired up perfectly. Time to go.
It reminds me of the end of the Kyoshi episode where he uses the Unagi to put out all the fires, where he just sprints out into the water and gets it. It's like, okay, I guess he wrangled the whole serpent and now can shoot water at will, where it's just a little bit too far for me. A little bit too far. Like, these beasts don't want to do what you want them to do.
I agree.
But whatever. It's just abuse of animals is what this show is about, man. Serial abuse.
How do you get opposing sides to ignore the fact that they hate each other?
Life or death situation.
Yes. Katara and Sokka, as they're facing all of these canyon crawlers at the bottom of the wall, they literally admit, they're like, yeah.
Sokka, wait! I don't care about this stupid feud. I just want us to get out of here alive.
Me too. I only took their side because they fed me.
They quickly wrangle one of their own.
It is the perfect situation to build those relationships, because definitely after surviving that and getting the adrenaline hit and being so thankful to be alive, you're like, wait a second. You know what? They did help us do that, whether we were perfectly paired up or not.
Right, exactly.
This episode just asked a tiny bit too much of me for suspending disbelief. Just a tiny bit too much, okay? But the episode is topped off with a crazy move from Aang. I remember watching this show for the first time and just being, I don't know why, but I just sort of felt like embarrassed for Aang when he told the story or something. What? I don't know.
Dude, that's
what's that feeling?
It's like you feel like ashamed for him.
Because he made it up?
Yeah, it's like, dude, you were doing everything right. And then one choice at the end almost undoes it, essentially. His story was so believable, too. If I'm in the world that they're in, I'm like, yeah, I mean, he lived 100 years ago. That checks out. The connections to what we described in our stories are similar enough. We don't have any proof anyways, so...
But I would be... He's 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
But he just starts off the story by saying, I'm actually 112, by the way. So it's like, okay, where's the proof? So
Yeah,
it's like, what are
true.
you talking about? You're literally 12 years old.
Yeah, I mean, the title of Avatar goes a long way.
Yeah, he didn't bring food into the canyon, unlike everybody else. He stayed impartial and didn't go to any camp. He assisted them across and flew the sick and elderly across on Appa when he didn't have to. But then at the end, he decides to lie about the history of these peoples because he thinks he knows better, which he might actually be doing them a solid, but it's just really manipulative, you know?
Morally, not good, but the outcome is 100% positive. I don't know. Just kidding. Like later, after they have gotten along with each other, it could have been, something.
When he did it, though, they were dueling to the death. So, because I was going to say this would have been a good time to just be like, look, we all work together. Isn't this great? Our differences are behind us. But what happened in the show was we survived. Too bad I could never live next to you or whatever. And they immediately began attacking each other.
A sad response, too. We just did so much together, and still, you're like...
Too bad we can't rewrite history.
You can write the future, bro.
Right. Oh, my gosh. And you know what? Talking about how Aang tells this story and they move forward under this lie, they might as well have been operating under a lie previously with the lack of proof and evidence.
Where's my logic and reason?
You could argue that it's an equivalent to what they had been doing before.
Yeah, because the story was just passed down to them.
Yeah.
And they hold on to it like it's true. Like you said, with no proof. Yeah, what didn't sit right with me is... I mean, this is not that big a deal. But they drew... He said in the story that they were 8 years old. The brothers, Wei Jin and Jin Wei, 8 years old. But in the drawing, they were toddlers. That's a pretty big difference in age.
I remember that, too.
I mean, when I had seen the show before, I didn't know that much about how old kids look, but now I've worked at like a summer camp before, and I work tutoring kids with you sometimes. And so now I can see like, okay, they're around 8, they're around 12.
Right.
And you can really tell what it's like 3-year-olds playing a game of like a ball game on Avatar where they're supposed to be 8. I'm like, what?
A little crazy. We're not still wearing a diaper when we're 8 years old. The last thought that I have about this episode has to do with Aang's choice to manipulate them at the end. And it's eye-opening to me. I remember it being significant to me as a kid and just realizing that when you are in these leadership positions, you have a responsibility. Your title carries weight and others will follow. So if you do lie, other people are going to follow a lie, right? And if you're found out in terms of the fact that you let these people operate under a lie, then they are going to be upset and they're going to let you know. And it's just the age-old Spider-Man quote. With great power comes great responsibility.
If Aang were to come back and say, I was just kidding, like you said earlier, the hatred that those tribes had for each other would turn into hatred for Aang.
And who knows? Maybe that is a way that they could be united.
That could be the ultimate sacrifice from Aang, him destroying his own image to bring those people closer together.
I wouldn't be against it. It's a delicate thing, that you must consider that when you're in those positions. You know what people need to hear, but they're only going to listen to what they want to hear. So in order for you to effectively deliver the influence that you're trying to make clear to them, you have to consider what would be effective. And, obviously, if it's a lie that's going to get them there, avoid that route. The goal is to have a positive outcome. I remember closing the episode with a thought like, it makes you wonder, like, what leaders in your life have chosen to say in order to make certain things happen. And it's like, oh man, this episode's got me thinking.
That's a tough thought to think about. So many lies.
Yeah, man.
So many lies. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Restoring Balance podcast. And remember, never let them get a taste, because you know they'll be coming back for you.
And always make sure that you tell them what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. And so the next day, we group up, stay divided. Those are opposites.